Hey witches, this is Dawn. I thought I'd give you an update on my garden. A new tour of the garden since the last time. I think today is August 14th and it is overcast, so I think I'll be able to see better. So anyway, I'm going to turn it around and show you what's happening with my garden. Okay, so I'm going to get in here. Here's some lettuce that I planted indoors and some organic fertilizer, and I'll show you why I did this, because we're getting really straggly in here. If you see the garden tower, these are going to seed, so that means they're pretty much done. They're channeling their energy into the flowers so that they can put out seed and reproduce. And some of these are just kind of old and, you know, burned out. They're done. But the, it looks like this little, gosh, look at that. This little tomato plant is just going like gangbusters. Oops, I lost one. Got lots of cherry tomatoes. I gotta pick those. So the lettuce that I've got in the wheelbarrow, I'm going to plant here. I'm gonna take these out and plant some new ones. And it looks like, look at this. This is dinosaur kale. I planted it first time this year, and it looks like something else likes to eat it too. So anyway, and I still don't know what this is, but anyway, it just kind of moved in on its own. Burdock is still here. I think there's some new flowers down here, and I see some bees still kind of hanging around, but it's starting to die back. I'm going to go ahead and cut it back and dig up the roots and eat the roots. I've never eaten the roots, so this will be my first time. Generally, when you want to harvest burdock, it's in early spring before they put up flowers, or in the fall of the first year. And these are biennials, so this is the second year. Look at this guy right here. That's butternut squash. It is taking over my garden. It is growing everywhere. Can you see that? There's a squash right there. Just everywhere, and it's awesome. So I don't know if any of the critters will eat the squash on the outside of the garden. They're welcome to it. Here is my cucumber. It's still going. And I wanted to make a correction. I said this was portulaca. This is purslane. The cultivated relative is called portulaca. And you can get the portulaca from a nursery. But they're basically the same thing. So, I don't know. This is my feverflower. It looks like it's kind of dying back, which is, I think, is what it does. There's more growing back there, so I'm not really, well, there it is. Back there. So I'm not too concerned. It does what it wants to do. I'm not really worried about it. I found out what this guy is. I need to research it, see if I want to keep it or not. It's beautiful, though. And then I can get around, see this squash down there. Look at these flowers. They're ginormous. They're absolutely ginormous. Okay, so this is something different. I can't remember what that's called. But this down here is some kind of nettle. It does not have, it's not stinging nettle, but it's related. So I want to research that. Here's a tomato. And then zucchini is in there. I only planted one because I know how prolific these can be. So just one plant. Ooh, there's a, I think you can see that. In there, there's a big one. There's several in there growing. I gotta get in there and harvest them. My basil's still going crazy. So, love it. Now I've heard that it gets bitter when it flowers, but I'm not getting that. I don't know if it's the fertilizer or what, maybe that makes a difference. But here's my butternut squash still taking over. Okay, here's my tomatoes. If you could see right in there, I put stockings over the tomatoes on the bottom because there's a little chipmunk that comes in here. I tried putting cat fur, but it rained and I think the smell of the cat fur got washed out. So I put stockings, nylons there. You can see in here too. That's to keep it from eating my tomatoes. So there. And really that's all I have that's bothering the garden now. I think everything is pretty much being kept out, which is great. Pepper plants are going crazy. So here's my garlic. And I know Rochelle asked about cutting the garlic back. You do not, because all of these leaves here, they're soaking up the sun, and that feeds the bulb. So the more leaves it has, the bigger the bulb will get. Oh, I got a pepper down there. One thing I've learned about peppers, see, these are not, they don't have a lot of flowers, not a lot of fruiting going on. I may have too much nitrogen. When you have a plant that flowers and then puts out fruit, you do not want a lot of nitrogen. So these are doing pretty good though. And look at this, squash, butternut squash. And then look at this, I only planted one. This is why. This is poblano peppers, and they're just prolific. They're just growing like crazy. Okay, here is the cantaloupe. This is the cantaloupe that was being nibbled on by the deer. Not no more, and it's growing like crazy. So you can see one there. There's another one back there. There's another one right here. And then there's a smaller one. Let's see, yeah, right there. Hopefully it'll be ready by the time fall and the frost gets here. I think that's it. But it has definitely recovered and is going like gangbusters. Look at it. It's all up there. So, and it's also gone through the fence onto the other side. It makes it difficult to get in there and weed, but I will survive. Everything will survive. So here is the goji berries. The bees are going crazy. They love these flowers. So it's related to tomatoes and peppers and all that. And it does not taste that great fresh, but you dry them in a dehydrator, and they're kind of like raisins. They have a lot more flavor. They taste better. I believe this right here is chickweed. I'll have to double check, but I think that's chickweed. Little white flowers. And supposedly drinking a tea of chickweed will help you lose weight. It helps you burn fat. Or dissolve fat, or something like that. The soapapines, I think, is what is helpful with burning up the fat or dissolving the fat in your body. Sounds good to me. And it's free. Marigolds, they're doing good. So that, I think that's it. The dill is pretty much run its course. There's a little bit here. I did harvest a whole bunch of seeds. There's a little bit here. Butternut squash everywhere. So the butternut squash I am going to dehydrate and make a flour out of some of it anyway. Here's my lettuce. It's flowering now. I'm going to seed, so I'll grab those seeds. The sweet potato, it never did very well because it kept getting, the deer was eating it, and I think the, I don't know if the rabbit or not, but it was definitely being eaten. Well, I wanted to show you something. I called this calendula. I've grown calendula before. This is not calendula, this is straw flower. And I get my fingers out of the way. Yeah, this is straw flower, this is not calendula. So I will have to get seeds, calendula, real calendula seeds. So here's some more from another source, because that's not calendula. Zinnias are doing nicely. It looks like a bachelor button is barely surviving in here. I'm gonna have to move it. That's a perennial, by the way. It's chicory also. You can call it chicory, and you can roast the roots. And here is nightshade. This is not deadly nightshade. And from what I've read, you can eat the berries once they're ripe. And you can't eat anything else off this plant because it will not do well in your body. Okay. I think that's it. I got everything. Look at this butternut squash. This is crazy. It's insane. Alright. That's it. I'm going to work on the lettuce. Here's my mint's going crazy too. I got to get it corralled and put back and pull out. Make sure it doesn't take over the garden, because it will. So, also this tomato plant, cherry tomato plant. It's a miniature patio size, like this one up here, and it seems to be doing well in this garden tower. So that's it, you guys. Thanks for watching. Do something today that makes you feel good and brings you joy. I love you all, and until next time, blessed be.